All our bits of fondant all pre-shaped and cut and the stitching effects put in, and we're now going to start assembling on the cake. So, I'm going to get this in roughly the right position, line it up and create a little shape like so. Make sure we've got the effect that we want. And we can get our brush with a bit of water and just put a bit of water into the corner where we want it, and then a little bit at the ends, and we can push the end in, create a little hump like so, and then spin round and do the next bit. So, literally all I'm doing is putting my finger in the middle and creating a little hump effect, like so. Get our water, put our water in the middle there. Line this up, create a little hump. Spin it round, bit of water. This one's going to go over the star, but it doesn't matter too much. That's the whole idea of it, just trying to create a random effect. So, and then we'll just position like so. Spin it round. Bit of water in the corner. Of water on the ends. Put our pointy bit on the end. Get our hump as we want it, and stick the fondant down like so. Next bit, we've got our little bits of ribbon here, and we're going to place these like so around the centre of the cake. So trying to maintain the little lump there, not like I've just done. Basically we just try and maintain our lump, or our loop should I say, like that. And we'll put a little bit more water there and a bit this end, and if we're careful, like so. Create our little loops. Water at each point where the icing is going to be touching the surface of the cake. Keep our little loops. You're not worrying about the middle at this stage, and you'll see shortly why. If you left the fondant a little bit longer, it will go a little bit harder, and you'd maintain the loops a little bit easier. Okay, the next bit, we've got our little rings, and what we're going to do with those is position those on top of the loops here, like so. Just lightly press, and they'll hold shape. Bit of water where we want to place it. And you're not looking for exact here, it's meant to be slightly random. So don't worry about it if it's not holding the shape 100%. Obviously you just want to leave room for each of the little loops and just fix in place like so. Little effect on top of the cake. Okay, so the next bit, we've got our little squirrels that we made earlier, and we're going to have those just coming out randomly from different points in the middle, like so. Just put a bit of water in the point where the end's going to be touching, and then have a squirrel coming out. And just repeat that as you go around. Obviously trying to maintain the squirrels a little bit. Like so. Obviously trying to be careful not to squash too much what you've done. Just find suitable points that make the squirrel look like they've naturally come out of the centre. Like so. If you wanted one just slightly looser, you could do. And then we've got one more here, and I'm going to have that coming out of the centre, I think. So again, it's just whatever you think looks right at the time. There's no rules here. You just create whatever looks right at the time. And as that hardens off, it will all set together and be secure on the cake. Take a quick closer look. You can see here from the top that we've got a really pretty effect. Okay, so that's the cake virtually finished. You could add a message to the board if you wanted to. And one other thing that you can do as well is create little toppers for the cake. So we've got these stars here, and what we've got is some thick wire, some cake wire that you can get from cake shops. And what we tend to do here, to avoid any damage during transport, is we pack them separately and let customers know, for example, that they can put them on themselves when they get home, and that way the cake doesn't get damaged during transport. And you can do all sorts of things. You can do hearts, you could do horses' heads, all sorts of things. And all you do is make sure you get the thick wire, because there's all different types of wire. If it's too thin, it won't hold the thickness of the star. And what we've done here, the star is quite thick, and that's so that it stays nicely on the wire. And that's it. That's our present cake with our fondant ribbons on top.